Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion, Isaac, calm, cool, collected, resolute, and absolutely ready to bring you win number 24. Invest. Okay. Okay. EWY4, X4YE. Alright. What do I have to say? Well, I think damage, rate of fire, and as a result, DPS are all great, really. To be honest with you, a better than average rate of fire and a much better than average damage stat puts us in a situation where, we're like 2 tick marks. Not orders of magnitude, not standard deviations, just 2 ticks of the volume knob higher than average. And the average run is a win, so this should be like a really special victory. It's the only logical mathematical explanation. Not so sure about that, though. At least it's a passive. Linger Bean, I don't even really know what it do. So, we're gonna, just try not to be too negative about that. The only thing that could sink us on this run, and it's certainly a possibility, is this Curse of the Unknown uncertainty that leads us to not know whether we have a lot of HP or no HP, or, very little HP. If we got 1 Spirit Heart, things are much more dangerous than if we have, 3 Red Hearts and a Spirit Heart backing us up. I will say, sometimes I think it's better to not know. Like, the fact that I don't know that one of these champions could kill me has me feeling relatively calm. Whereas if we knew what was up, we might be a little bit more perturbed, would be a good description. I was actually thinking it would be good if we had Larry Jr., and they're like the minimum version of Larry Jr., which means it's harder, but much, much shorter as well. Like a tiny diamond. They're gonna die real quickly. We're good to go. We get a fire rate increase. I would be remiss, I was reading a thread on the Northernlion subreddit, and it's, there's a little Isaac backlog, not a huge one, but there was some comments that were like, does anybody else think that NL's in a little bit of an Isaac slump right now? And I would say, yes. Not now, but as of, maybe 10 videos ago, I was definitely feeling like I was in a little bit of an Isaac slump. Now, I feel like I'm getting out of it. And the way you get out of it, I think, is you do the little things right. We went back to get a key. Sure, we might get a key on the next floor. We went back to get a key by placing a bomb. Check it out. We got ourselves a bunch of money in the process. That's going to allow us to get this Demon Judgment. Maybe the Demon Judgment, who knows? Hey. I mean, in the end, it's not really that good, but it's decent. HP has turned out to be exactly fine. And I don't mean like this is unacceptable measurement. I mean, this is the acceptable measurement. This is the definition of fine. We have a few Spirit Hearts and we have 1 Red Heart. That's Deal with the Devil handled for this floor along with survivability as well. And bombs are key. Good. Actually, good bombs are key. Yeah, so I felt it. Don't get me wrong. I can take at least a certain degree of criticism, and I certainly felt like I was slumping from an Isaac context before this. But now, for like the last 10 videos, I felt switched on. And dude, Cricket said, good things come to those who wait. Or don't wait at all, but rather have enough keys to open a golden chest. We got 7 damage, 7 rate of fire. If your damage had to equal your rate of fire, 7 might be where you want to be. Good damage, above average rate of fire, your tier effect scale. You definitely don't want 1 damage, 1 rate of fire. That's like soy milk. What about 5 damage, 5 rate of fire? It's not bad, but I don't know, dude. I think I might be a 7 and 7. A 10 and 10 might also be acceptable. Truth be told, like anything over like 5 or 6, but under 15 is probably gonna be okay. You know what? What's Isaac about? Doing the little things right. At a certain level, doing the little things right. So we're gonna stay away from the body for now, but we're gonna take it after we see what's going on in our Deal with the Devil. That could give us a net upgrade of like 1 or 2 HP. So let's not be stupid about it. We're also very aggressively taking like every pill. And the whole idea there is that by taking every pill, we're more likely to know what the pills that come out of mom's bottle of pills are and use them accordingly. Now, how do you use an X-Lax pill? You go, lol, poop, LMAO, and then you never think about it ever again. Luck down. Well, good to know. Good to know it exists. Grab this, and it's a 2 of clubs. And don't want to use it yet, but certainly not something I'm too disappointed by. Wow. Little disappointed by that, though. Shouldn't have been hit there. It's on me. I gotta take responsibility for it. It's the right time to pop it right there. I knew it was gonna be you. How did I know? Well, I didn't, baby. You just told me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I feel like the science tier isn't as good against you. Send pin next time. Range up. Alright. Alright. What did we do? We took Void. Void. It's like a weird cousin. How? Well, I'm thinking of that in my head right now. You never know, you know, is your cousin weird good or weird bad? Are they idiosyncratic like a Joaquin Phoenix, or are they out of their gourd? Now you might say, is it your place to judge your family? Yeah, that's what family's all about. Don't get on your high horse about that. Yo. Okay, I mean, credit card. I know what we do. Credit card, pop it.
Credit card.
Take everything here. This is great stuff. Bombs are key. Nah. Grab this. Use it. Hold it. Now we're going to take measures to suck it up. All we need is a battery charge. Grab the battery. Oh, there's another credit card, though. If we could just get one more penny, dude, we can... Well, we don't really want to suck up the converter, though, do we? No, we don't at all. Well, Dull Razor wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to suck up. What we could do is buy the credit card and save it for a better roll. I shouldn't spend bombs like this. I should look for poop instead, but, you know, I just want to get the money if possible. Did we blow up everything on that arcade? Fire could give us money. Just a little bit of money, sir, is all I request from you. I'll even try this. Might not hit the top one. Okay, we're good. Dude, 2 credit cards. That's insanely great. I just want to make sure we're doing it right. I don't care about Dull Razor that much. So I think we do this. Dull Razor, Trinket, Smelter. Oh, my lord. Now I love them. Yes. Grab it. Bombs are key. I still want to use it. Smelt me. Then Void. Suck them all up. Fake damage, not real damage. So every time we press the space bar, we should not only... Well, every time we have a charge anyway. We should smelt a trinket and get a new one. Now we're cooking with barbecue oil. That is not a real thing that exists. Lighter fluid. Lighter fluid, that's the word. Yeah, barbecue oil. Anyway. We also get... I'm assuming we get double the benefit of the trinkets. What else we got going on? I mean... Dull Razor... If we get things like a Thame is a great call. Anything that does a benefit for us when we take damage. So, a Thame, you know, Fanny Pack is a good example. You know, a Swallowed Penny as a trinket and then smelt it. Dull Razor's real interesting. It's one of the more interesting items added, you know, eventually at some point during Rebirth's life cycle. It's just hard to come up, you know, off the top of the dome piece with what we're looking for out of it, but that's okay too. So we do have petrified poop stored up. We might as well at least get ourselves to 5 cents, like, you know, arcade levels. I think there's no reason we shouldn't be on pace for things on this run. It does get a little bit finicky, you know, the more items and synergies and interactions and et cetera as you stack on top of one another, the more difficult it becomes to kind of figure out where you even stand on a run. I'm not worried about that. I think as long as we just You know, stay cool, play well. You know, if you do the little things right, we got it under control here, I think. So we'll do that. Fake damage, smelt it. This time, I'll let you know. No. I'm not going to take Doctor's Remote. I do not want to teleport every time I press the space bar. I think there's situations where that's right, but that's a sometimes trinket. Just the same way Cookie Monster says cookies are a sometimes food. Doctor's Remote, which is actually broken joystick, not interested. At least immediately. Now, if I could get a curse, that means there could be, or sorry, let's be careful what you wish for, sir. If I could get a trinket that eliminates this exact curse, I would trade my kingdom for it. We're not there yet. Did anybody, this is going to sound very ignorant, okay? I understand if you live in Europe, this is going to make me sound like an idiot. And I understand if you live in even America, you grew up in America, this might sound idiotic. No matter where you grew up, this might sound dumb. Until I played Europa Universalis 4 and well, really Crusader Kings, I guess. But until I played those Paradox Grand Strategy games, I didn't really understand that a king rules a kingdom. And I know that it's obvious, it's right there in the name. But it seriously took playing CK2. Oh, dude, absolutely. And having that game be like, okay, a duke is under a bear. Sorry, a duke is under a king. A duke rules a duchy. And then a baron is under a duke. A baron rules a barony, also known as like a castle. Anyway, you get the idea. When I was a kid, my only interaction with kings... I mean, I guess we want to grab that. If we can get a spacebar charge, but it's not critical, but it would be nice. The only time I interacted with the words king, queen was like, you know, you either Queen Elizabeth II, who's been the ruling monarch for my entire existence, hopefully still as of the time this video goes live, you know, or stories, you know, like the king lives in blah, you know, he lived in the kingdom of blah blah. I never understood. I thought the king was just like the difference. You know how like a president and a prime minister are mostly the same thing? Like America has a president, Canada has a prime minister, but they're both just different titles to refer to the head of the state. That's what I thought Duke... I guess we're saying no to Pokeball. That's what I thought Duke, King, Emperor, etc., Baron. I thought these were just different ways to refer to the person who rules the country. It's even worse, dude. I mean, in fantasy, the king is the ruler. Who's the queen? Wife of the king. Even, it took me a while to untease that from my own brain when I was like, wait a minute. What about Queen Elizabeth, though? She's the monarch. She rules. Well, she's not the monarch. That's a Venture Bros thing. But anyway, pop this open. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that. Shouldn't have cracked that yet. Chariot. Not bad, obviously. You know what? It was worth the squeeze, but I wish we didn't have to make it worth the squeeze. We really need a speed upgrade. That's number one on the list right now. And dude, I forgot we had like karma. So we actually get some of our trinkets back. Or is that Endless Loop that gives us that? I don't know. Endless Loops? Sounds like a dream meal, brother. Go ahead. Make my day. I was a smart kid, but I was very ignorant. I was book smart. That's a great way to describe it. Now, believe it or not, I mean, I'm still... This is going to sound like I'm bragging. I don't really mean it like that. I'm still book smart, but I have street smarts as well. I'm probably less book smart than I used to be, but much, much, much more street smart than I used to be. Sometimes people mistake street smarts for being a little callous, and I think that they're kind of one and the same. What are street smarts? If you're in a major city and somebody hands you a CD and says, "Hey, would you like to sample my demo tape for free?" You don't say no, you just don't respond. You just keep on walking. Why? They want to give you a free CD? They don't want to give you a free CD. There's two variations of this scam, okay? I see it happen all the time at PAX West. And people that are a little bit more naive to the trappings of city life, not to judge them, they fall victim now and then. That's why the culprits are there. It happens one of two ways. It's called a foot in the door strategy is the first way. That's you take the CD, and because you have it in your hands, then they go, all right, that'll be $10. And what you're supposed to do is throw the CD on the ground, because if you try to give it back to them, they just go, whoa, 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 no, I don't want it, I don't want it. And it's like a weird game of like possession is 9/10 of the law, so you just toss it on the ground. Well, the idea is you're too polite to say no, and you're like, well, I ain't from around here. I don't understand these big city customs, so sure, here's $10. The other one, and sometimes I'm sure they're used in conjunction, is that the CD has some kind of malware on it. But that's a little bit more sophisticated. I would be more concerned about the just getting caught with the foot in the door strategy. What does being street smart mean in Vancouver? It means there's a few blocks that most of the time you stay away from unless you have to go there. You're very, very unlikely to get in trouble, but you might be a little uncomfortable. You know, there's parts of the city that sometimes I get annoyed, okay? Because I'm kind of a bleeding heart, you know? Like, whenever something bad happens to anybody, I get a little sad, believe it or not. I've been painted as a cold, emotionless robot. That's because I make fun of the people that I like. But I also feel the tugging on the heartstrings. I sincerely do. And then sometimes, you know, like recently, Kate, she was in a bad part of town going to a printing shop. And she tweeted that she was in a bad part of town and there were people there and she was worried about getting stabbed. Somebody replied to my Asian wife and said, way to vilify a minority. And first I was like, dude, grant me the confidence to one day talk back to my own wife like that. Like, that's incredible, what you just said to her. But secondarily, she wasn't worried about getting stabbed because there were sketchy people there. She was worried about getting stabbed because the sketchy people there had knives, my dude. They had knives. They're probably not going to stab her, but, you know, she was talking about, like, one of the dudes had a scalpel and was, like, just walking around with it. I assume we can suck this up, in which case it might be worth more than tarot cloth. Maybe. I have no idea. Anyway, well, the point is, I wonder sometimes if the people that are like, you know, don't talk about stuff like that, they're down on their luck, you don't know what decisions led them to that, no consumption under capitalism is innately ethical, and etc., etc. If they live in an area that has a large incidence of stuff like this. Like in Vancouver, violent crime is really low, property crime is very high. But I feel like even if somebody broke into my car and like took something out of it, it's gonna be, like if I tweet and I go, oh, someone broke into my car and stole like $4 out of my cup holder, I would get like 5% of the replies would be like, well, 90% would be like, why'd you leave the coins in your cup holder? I wanted to! But the other percentage, some other percentage of the replies would be like, well, you can't vilify them for having stolen from you because they obviously needed those. Okay, but like, just leave a note on the windshield and then I'd rather give you the $5 than have to pay for my window to be fixed. That's all I'm saying. No, I don't want to leave yet. That's street smarts. You know, it's knowing, you know, where to not go if you can help it. And what to do when you get into a situation. Like, I'll be straight up with you. When I first moved to Vancouver, I lived in a small town for my whole life. And then I lived in South Korea, where I don't know if there is, like, a panhandling population. I didn't see any in the city that I lived in. In Japan, we saw some homeless people. And, but very, very few considering, you know, the size of the city relative to, like, a North American city. But anyway, like, when I moved to Vancouver, I remember there was a lady, and she came up to me, and she was like, excuse me, can you help me? I have a question. And then I said, sure, like, alrighty, ma'am, what's up? I ain't spent much time in the big city yet, but I'll do my best. And she was like, can you give me some money? And I just remember feeling so betrayed. I remember there was like one psychology 100 lesson where our professor taught us all these, like, you know, tricks that people do to kind of like manipulate you in mostly like car sales and stuff like that, you know. Really, like any kind of sales. You know, another one that happens commonly, for example. This one is, I think it's called like a yes ladder or a yes chain or something like that. So what happens is like you answer one question with a yes, and subtly, for whatever reason, you feel pressure to help because like you already admitted, you know, you wanted to help with the first question. You don't want to help me anymore now that it would only cost you a couple of bucks out of your pocket? The other one, and this is not in specific, you know, to regard to panhandling, but I think it's called blackballing, something like that. It's not lowballing, but basically, you know, you go to like a car dealership and they're like, yep, okay, 25 grand on the dot, come in tomorrow and that'll be the price. You come in tomorrow, it's 26.5, and they go, sorry, I talked to my boss, it's the best I can do, 26.5. But because in your head you've already been like, I want to get this car, we got the deal lined up, you just want to release all the stress of having, you know, oh, yeah, we'll definitely grab these. You know, you just want it to be over with, and you're like, an extra 1,500 bucks, sure. You know, you got me, congratulations. I think that's street smarts, I guess. It's not about avoiding the bad parts of town, it's about knowing when people have an ulterior motive. Don't take this as this comes up time and time again, you know, in mostly streams because it happens like offhandedly, but like I have no negativity associated with the homeless population in Vancouver. I've never been robbed. I've never been made to feel unsafe. I've been made to feel uncomfortable. But mostly they're just like, can I have some money? And you're like, sorry, dude, I can't help you. And they're like, okay. Well, they don't say okay, they just walk away. Don't take this as me being anti-homeless. It's just a fact of life. I think when you live in like almost any big city, you know, you kind of get accustomed to it. You get inundated. What's annoying is when people who live in a city that has like no homeless population to speak of are like, why are you being rude to the homeless people? And I'm like, it's not like that. You don't understand. It's just it's an everyday occurrence here. It's the same reason, you know, well, first off, I don't think it's rudeness, but secondarily, you know, it's a touchy subject, so I'm trying to treat it with the decorum that it deserves. You know, secondarily, it's the same reason I don't go down and see, you know, the steam clock in Gastown every time I'm in Gastown. It's because, you know, I live with it every day. And I've opened myself up to the obvious, though that must be hard for you. But that's not really what I'm getting at. I'm mostly just trying to take the side of my wife, who was unfairly vilified by, admittedly, only one person, and one person who was being probably well-meaning, but they were being kind of an idiot about it. And, you know, that person follows me on Twitter because I checked. So just take it as a learning lesson, or you can tell me to frig off and never, you know, never watch any of my content again. That's also fine, if that's the way you want to handle it. So we do have Black Hole. I was wondering, I was like, I thought I had grabbed Black Hole at some point, and I have. Well, you have money now. We should get there's options. I understand, you know, we live in controversial times. You know, when you can tell who is a Republican and who's a Democrat just based on their feelings about the latest Star Wars movie, you know you're in complicated political and cinematic times. It's fraught. It's a minefield. I understand. But, I mean, I told this story before at one point. I was at the McDonald's, one of the sketchier McDonald's in Vancouver, and a lady came up to me and was like, could you buy me some food? And I said no. And I'll admit, kind of, it doesn't make me... does it make me the bad guy? I don't know. That's why I'm actually like avoiding taking a stand on this issue. I don't think it makes me a bad guy to exercise, you know, my own autonomy and be like, no, I'm not going to buy you some food. I don't know who you are. It is, I understand, a little callous because, you know, she didn't ask me for money. She asked for food. Now that I'm thinking back to it, I'm like, man, I probably should have gotten her some food. But it's also just kind of like awkward. I know this sounds really bad, and it is really bad, but in my head, it's not the money. It's more like I don't want to have to deal with gratitude. It's like if she was like, thank you so much, I would be like, please don't say thank you, okay? You're a human being. You don't need to thank me like there's some kind of power dynamic going on here. It's okay. So I said no instead, which is way worse. But she called me a selfish something. Something that started with a C or a P. I can't remember. But anyway, like 3 months later, me and Kate were at the same McDonald's, and we walk outside, and then this lady starts following us. Like, on foot traffic, you know, down some dark alleys, more or less. And she's going, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. And, like, without stopping walking, I turn around, and it's the same lady who called me a pejorative. And she goes, do you have any money? And I said, sorry, I can't help you. And she called me another name, and she walked away. I was like, lady, you're killing your future customer base here, for one. Now, this is admittedly a joke at her expense, which is punching down, and people are probably going, you know what, my least favorite thing on Twitch right now is there's this culture of, I love when people say yikes. I think yikes is hilarious, but people say oof way too much, OOF. Whenever a joke is, like, even mildly controversial, they're like, oof. I don't like that. Just, if you're offended by a joke, say you're offended. We can talk it out. Maybe I've overstepped. I try to approach all this in good faith. Maybe you're a little touchy about the subject for personal reasons, and that's fine too. You know, all of this is okay. That's why we talk it out. But when you just drop an oof, like French eggs, I don't know, man. It grinds my gears a little bit. If you give me a ha-ha, like the cringe face, I can live with that. But an oof, it burns a bridge. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's, I'm towing the line. Because there's people in this city that are like, you know, anybody that owns 2 houses should have one of their houses taken away by the government and given to somebody with no house. And then, you know, I'm like, well, you got a spare bedroom. What do you think about that? But I digress. That's not really the point. And then there's people, legitimately, there's people in Vancouver that are like, I hope they all die of a drug overdose. And you're like, wow, that's just insanely callous. That's just terrible. You're just a horrible human being. And I'm kind of, I wouldn't even say I'm somewhere in the middle. You know, I'm definitely, I hope I'm further away from the side of they should all perish. I don't want to be associated with that side if possible. But also, I don't know, man. It's weird times. I feel like everything is political now. And I know every time I even talk about something even tangentially related to politics, people are like, uh-oh, here he goes again. It's not like that. It's just that in 2018, everything is political. You know, I've tried. Can't talk about Star Wars. It's political. Ocean's 8. Ghostbusters. You know, it's all... Marvel movies are political now. I saw Mission Impossible Fallout. Don't you know Tom Cruise is a Scientologist? Yeah, I know, but, like, that movie bangs. You know, it's like everything is couched in... It's like too much context now. We lived so long in a contextless world, and it was very troublesome. Not troublesome, problematic. And now we live in a world where we got too much context, and I feel like we can't enjoy anything without having a detailed conversation about the rights and the wrongs of it. It's a tough time to communicate. You know, I don't like tweeting anymore. The only thing people can get by, there's like 2 kinds of tweets that always go hard. One tweet is, haha, I want to die. That one happens a lot for whatever reason. And then the other tweet is going live at twitch.tv. Those are like, that and me tweeting my X-Plane landings are like the only tweets I want to make in the modern era. And this is not, I don't know, I feel like even what I've said people are going to misconstrue as taking a political side. I'm definitely not taking the side of like, you can't tell a joke these days without people getting offended. 100% not. Yo, genius maneuver that we totally squandered. Let me out, please, before I... Okay, you know what? Like, we're actually in trouble here. This is a good segue for me to start talking about actual Isaac again. But I'm very scared about our HP-related woes. So let's calm down. I'm not also lamenting, like, some kind of fake bygone era, which is something that I think happens all the time. I don't think we have any guppy items, so I just, I think I want to blow you up for a Spirit Heart, and then... hoping to get a Spirit Heart, I should say. We don't need those. We don't need those. And then here, we could suck them up for stats, and I think that's what a smart person would do, but I'm going to take Old Bandage instead, because I want more HP. I'm just saying, is hard now. I think the number one thing I've talked about is, like, I hate dunk culture. Like, when somebody makes a mistake and they, you know, the number one thing that people do on Twitter is they're like, look at this mistake, what an idiot, I hate him, blocked, you know. That's what annoys me. But on the other hand, it also annoys me when people tweet very bad opinions. So maybe I'm part of the problem. Yo, I'm actually mildly nervous here. Let me out, please. I should not have used Black Hole here, dude. This was scary. Okay, so we're still good. Really, the problem is that I deliberately take an opinion that toes the line, and as a result, you know, for many years, people use that as shorthand to think that I was an intellectual, and I miss those times, because now people are like, if you don't have an opinion, you're part of the problem, and I'm like, can't I just go back to being a coward and pretending that it's more like it's because I'm more enlightened than everybody else instead of just having no backbone? That's the era I miss. That's what I'm nostalgic for. Is when people would be like, how do you feel about issue? And you'd be like, well, it's complicated. People would be like, oh, he's so smart. Now people are like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, like everything's complicated, of course, you know, but like, how do you feel about it? And you're like, oh, well, the thing is, there's many facets to consider here. That's what I thought. You get no opinion, huh? All right, well, see you later. Courage the Cowardly Lion, and don't at me. Can I also say, like, I don't want to die on this run. I really don't. But given our aesthetic right now of sad, demonic clown, would it be the worst thing in the world if we did? That doesn't hurt us. Remember, that doesn't hurt us. It just pretends to hurt us. I want the Error Rune, and I want the Trinket, please. We should have 2 HP left, so there's no urgent need for us to pick up HP. I can't believe this. Something must have happened while I was talking about when I was walking on eggshells. Something must have happened. And the run went from like an easy guaranteed win to things kind of falling apart. I have to blame myself. I just don't know. Did I stop doing the little things right? I hope not. I hope not. Here we go. Boss room. Let me go. Let me go. You know what it is? It's our speed. I just noticed. That's good, because I was going to blame myself temporarily. Now I've realized it's not my fault at all, and there's nothing I could do, dude. 0.66 speed. Small rock picked up very recently. Yeah, okay, I see the problem here. So we're looking and hoping and wishing and praying that we could... No. That we could pick up... Oh, no, not Ouroboros, dude. Get rid of Ouroboros. We're hoping that we could pick up... really, like, the goat hoof is the most likely savior, I think. Even, like, it's tough for us to dodge those, and that's a scary story. Thank God. 0.66 speed is definitely in the zone of, like, you know, bad things could happen. One truly heinous room could cause us a lot of problems. The Heimet. It's tough for me to recognize, but this is my own fault here. We could have not taken the rock. It's not like you have to take the small rock. The reason we took it is obvious. It's damage, but do we really need more damage? I mean, we have 47. It's kind of a lot. I am a little disappointed that I can't seem to get... No. I also don't think I want blasting cap. Get out of here, blasting cap. Okay. I'm a little disappointed that Maw of the Void has not given us, to the best of my memory, a single payout so far. Now, I am, sure, okay. I am, picking up all the coins. That's because I really think luck upgrades might aid and abet us in that mindset. You know, in that endeavor, I should say. We probably would like more keys. It's just, I mean, I know there's one back there, but if you'll allow me, first off, thank you. But secondly, if you'll allow me, we're very slow. So, takes a little bit of mental inertia to turn the ship around and be like, let's go grab this. Because we're very, very slow right now. Both mentally and physically. As demonstrated by my nuanced approach to our previous conversation. Nah. Just keep it up. I wish we could tease apart more of what I was talking about. But I don't know. Is the thing. I just don't know. I think it's just social media, dude. Yara. Definitely want Yara. No, we absolutely did want keys. Absolutely true now that I think about it. Because we're going to Yara immediately once we get down to the chest. I think it's just social media brings out, like, the dunkability in everybody, you know? I dunk on people on social media. Sometimes I say nice things on social media and people think it's a dunk. I tweeted the AggroPer Twitter account. It's a Canadian AAA dairy creamery. I don't know what the heck it's called, let's be honest. And I said, hey, I really like your Oka cheese. And I had some people be like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, dude. Oka's bomb is a great cheese. I know it's not made by Trappist monks anymore. I don't care. They gave the recipe to AggroPer for probably like 7 figures, and the cheese rules. And I think, you know, it might not be monks working at AggroPer, but simultaneously, you know, those are hardworking individuals. I'm sure they'd like to sign into their Twitter account and see that, hey, this guy, he's a big deal. Probably like one of the most famous people in Canada. Up there with Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gos, all the Ryans. He likes our cheese. Isn't that nice? I hope it would be considered nice, at least. Yo! We don't need it, but I'm happy to have it. So as of right now, it's so weird. If you'll indulge, you know, I know we have 52 damage. Actually absurd. 47, I guess. We had 52 temporarily. This run is actually harder than it looks, and we're almost certainly going to win. I mean, as you've seen, when we fight a boss, we just kill them. Like, we walk into them and they're dead. But this run was not easy. It had many, many moments, particularly from, like, after the depths, where things got way tougher than I ever could have expected. Now, it looks like, you know, we're highly in the clear. We got very, very, very little to worry about, but still, you know, it's losses, they can come in all shapes and sizes. This one, you know, it came on a white horse bearing gifts. Sometimes they sneak up on you in the dark with a little cloak and dagger action. Sometimes you're going on an ill-advised rant about homelessness without having any context or knowledge of the support systems in your local ecosystem, or, you know, the prevalence of addiction and mental health and etc. and you're pretending like you have perspective on the issue despite the fact that you sit in your room recording video games for the past 7 years as your job, and, you know, you wouldn't know hardship if it smacked you in the face with a wet trout. It's just something we say up in Canada. We're always talking about trouts up here. I think we got you. We got you. Do not even give me the void portal. I will be thank you. I was going to say I'll be offended. Hope you enjoyed the episode, in spite of my ignorance. If you did, click the like button. It helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.